This is CBN Newswatch.
It is Thursday, December 19th. Thank you for joining us for this edition of CBN Newswatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. We begin this half hour. President Trump has officially been impeached. Last night, the House of Representatives voted mostly along party lines, charging him with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. But today, there is uncertainty about just when and if the case will move to the Senate. Jenna Browder has the latest from Washington.
A historic vote in the House last night as President Trump becomes the third American president to be impeached. The vote split almost along party lines, every Republican voting against impeachment, along with 3 Democrats who broke with their party.
A great day for the Constitution of the United States. A sad one for America.
Democrats charging President Trump with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress.
Article 1 is adopted.
Both sides making the same arguments they've made for months.
But this isn't just about Donald Trump. They don't just hate Donald Trump, Madam Speaker. They hate the 63 million Americans who voted for this president, the forgotten men and women of this country who have been left behind, Madam Speaker.
His actions reflect precisely the type of conduct the framers of the Constitution intended to remedy through the power of impeachment.
President Trump responding in real time from his rally in Battle Creek, Michigan.
Oh, I think we have a vote coming in. So we got every single Republican voted for us. Whoa. Whoa.
And not mincing words about the Democrats.
Through their depraved actions today, crazy Nancy Pelosi's House Democrats have branded themselves with an eternal mark of shame.
And now new uncertainty. Speaker Nancy Pelosi declining to say when or even if Democrats will deliver the articles to the Senate, citing concerns about an unfair trial. Democrats would like to call witnesses in the Senate, something usually only done in the House. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has already rejected the request.
We'll make a decision as a group, as we always have, as we go along.
Leader McConnell is expected to meet with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer today to try to iron out the details of the Senate trial, expected to begin January 6th. But that's only if Pelosi decides to move the process forward. In Washington, Jenna Browder, CBN News.
New reports of Hamas and Turkey in a silent partnership ganging up on Israel. Britain's Telegraph reports Hamas is planning attacks on Israel from Turkey while President Erdogan turns a blind eye. The article quotes transcripts of Israeli police interrogation saying senior Hamas operatives are finding safe haven in Istanbul to plot their attacks, including an attempted assassination of the mayor of Jerusalem. President Erdogan said his country will continue to support, quote, our brothers in Palestine. Back here at home, it is the holiday season, and a holiday season means shopping. Consumer confidence and financial markets are soaring to record highs. But what's behind the good economic news, and how long will this last? Our Gary Lane has this report.
Financial markets globally and here at home are looking up. The Dow, S&P 500 and NASDAQ hit record closing highs Tuesday as a stock rally extended into 5 straight sessions. Analysts point to good news on the trade front. Last week, the House approving the president's trade agreement with Mexico and Canada. This week, the U.S. and China reaching a deal in the first phase of an ongoing contentious trade negotiation. That news calmed jittery investors anxious about the future.
The markets have really improved since there was a tentative deal rumored and now announced. China is our largest single country trading partner, so reducing uncertainty with China will improve the economic growth overall because of exports to China.
White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow says the agreement is all about economic growth and securing a healthy economy in 2020.
We are going to double U.S. exports. The positive effects on economic growth in this country cannot be exaggerated. That's why I keep calling this growth year, and that's why I think in addition to lowering the tempers and putting some more certainty into it, I think you're going to get a very good business year out of this.
Another factor affecting global markets, the Conservative Party's huge win in the parliamentary elections, virtually ending all doubt that Britain will withdraw from the European Union.
UK election happened. It was a clear majority for Boris Johnson's government. That reduces policy uncertainty as well.
In another sign of a healthy U.S. economy, consumers are confident, spending big bucks this Christmas season. The National Retail Federation predicting total holiday sales could hit $730 billion. Dan Celia of the radio show Financial Issues told CBN News that's better than what many expected, and it will have a long-term impact on the economy.
We have to go back to at least 16 years to see the kind of optimism that we had this Christmas season. It is unbelievable. And you can see that through consumer income, savings rates, spending. It has been extremely high all this year leading up to Black Friday. So it only stands to reason that that optimism is going to continue.
What could potentially drag down this economy? The ever-growing federal deficit. Former Federal Reserve Chair Alan Greenspan predicts inflation will rise as the deficit is on track to hit more than $1 trillion. Gary Lane, CBN News.
Coming up, the flu season is in full swing. See what you need to know to stay healthy.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
It's about the competition.
I kind of put that pressure on myself, and I think people had expectations.
It's about overcoming.
We use this phrase all the time, keep chopping, keep practicing hard.
It's about going the distance.
You know, I think as a father, it's my job, to lead. Just be the best husband and father I can be.
Watch Going the Distance with Sean Brown Saturday night at 7:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
Region's first ROTC graduate student.
Welcome back to CBN Newswatch. In health news, flu activity is on the rise with cases cropping up nationwide. Adil Hurd has this look at the story.
The flu bug has sickened 322 students at Shakopee West Middle School in Minnesota. That's more than a quarter of the kids in the building.
Yeah, we have half of our hockey team that was out of school today because the strep throat and flu-like symptoms.
I'd rather have it now than next week for Christmas, honestly, but they've already postponed a choir concert tonight.
Health experts say this year's flu season hit earlier than usual. Some 1,300 people have died of the flu so far this year. Federal health officials say there have been at least 2.6 million flu illnesses and 23,000 hospitalizations. Flu can be very dangerous, turning into deadly sepsis, pneumonia, and heart problems. New research published in the New England Journal of Medicine shows adults are 6 times more likely to have a heart attack within a week after getting the flu. Doctors recommend avoiding people with the flu because they can breathe the virus out in particles that hover in the air. Frequent hand washing is also important since the flu virus can live on hard surfaces up to a day. But even doing that cannot give 100% protection from such an infectious disease.
There's never a good time. I actually would prefer Christmas because then I don't have to worry about taking more time off of work or anything to take care of my kids.
Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Still ahead, we're showing you a new trend. It is called co-churching. See what it is all about when we come back.
I am Region's first ROTC graduate student.
Meet the pastors who are preaching the gospel in a fresh, fearless way. I'm Roberto Torres-Cedillo. Join me each week for Next Gen Voices. And watch God transform a generation.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
Come home to the Southern Gospel Station from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites. CBN Southern Gospel. Available now at cbnradio.com.
Falling attendance, empty rooms, rising costs. America's churches have too much space and too few people, and they're suffering a financial crisis as a result. What's the answer to filling that space and staying on mission? Caitlin Burke shows us the creative way some have found to pay their bills while connecting with their communities.
It's one of the fastest growing business trends in history. Known as the sharing economy, the concept is that individuals rent or borrow goods rather than buy and own them. We see people sharing cars, spare bedrooms, offices, and now church space.
For churches that are just starting out, they probably have a very small, if any, budget for housing or for mortgage or for rent. So that generally cripples a ministry within their first 1 to 3 years. They're either closing down, downsizing, or just totally moving online.
As the daughter of a church planter, this description is all too familiar for Day Edwards.
We started our church in our home, and we would have to makeshift a church area in our living room. We had to set up and break down, and I just thought growing up, I was like, you know what? When I get older, I'm never going to church again because this is too much work.
Instead, she says God used her as part of the solution.
I was praying to God, and I told God I wanted to have a co-working space for women. It's just something a lot of my clients are women that I help within business. And he actually showed me a vision of a co-working space, but it was a church.
Co-working turned to co-churching as Day changed her plans to match God's vision and launched a new product.
Church Space is a mobile app that connects vacant church spaces with ministries, business owners, and event professionals seeking space at an affordable rate.
Each property listing on the app comes specifically equipped for a modern church's needs. Lighting, instruments, audio, and even streaming equipment are provided. Multiple clients can rent the same space, each with a fixed time slot for their service, as well as a weekday option for office hours and activities like Bible studies or choir rehearsal.
Building sharing is attractive to many new churches and ministries, but it's also solving a growing problem that many existing churches face.
Mitchell Boone is the senior pastor of White Rock Methodist. His church faced possible foreclosure following decades of financial and attendance losses.
We, like several different denominations all over the country, face a decline, and we had become disconnected from our neighborhood. So our congregation had dwindled in size to where 60,000 square feet worth of space was not sustainable for our congregation.
Situations like that often force churches to close, but it's Larry Duggan's mission to keep that from happening. He heads up the Missional Wisdom Foundation, which helps congregations rent out underutilized space.
Our idea is not to change church buildings into community centers or anything like that, because there's an important need for worship space still and ongoing for many people. That's the way they connect with God. But we can use this unused space to be able to create communities that walk alongside the worship services and walk alongside the Sunday school classes to be able to help people connect in ways that are relevant to them.
In the case of White Rock, church leadership had already begun a community garden and renting out classroom space to an art camp on weekdays. The Missional Wisdom Foundation leased an additional 15,000 square feet of unused space in the basement. It now serves as a co-working space, shared kitchen, small offices, and even a Taekwondo studio.
We had done a fair amount of listening before we started actually to do any construction downstairs. We had an employee who sat in the space or outside of White Rock for almost 6 months, talking to people who came by, gathering information so that we had some good feedback on what the neighbors needed and wanted. It was more than simply meeting a need, it was filling a gap.
With costs now offset, the church can continue its ministry, hopefully for many years to come. Opening up and allowing the community to come in has also provided a unique opportunity.
Jesus was constantly around people. Jesus was constantly eating with folks, being present with folks in their pain. Jesus was at the center of the community. And so when the church can take on this posture of being deeply engaged with our neighbors, it allows us to fulfill our mission of bringing the good news of Jesus Christ to the world.
For church space, the blessing is twofold. Growing demand, plus the model is serving its original purpose.
Our longest tenants for church space have been at one of our very first facilities for a year. And now that they've been there, they've saved up enough money to get their own space. But the beautiful thing about that is that their new space they're opening is still going to be a part of church space because they're going to rent that out as well.
Whether the shared space is with another church, an exercise class, an art studio, it's allowing church leaders to stop stressing about finances and start focusing on what's really important, their ministry. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Dallas, Texas.
Stay with us. There's much more of CBN Newswatch coming up right after this.
Yeah, I got that. I dance around because I know it. I move around because I got it. Joy's in the heart. I dance around because I know it. I move around because I got it. Joy's in the heart.
On the home front. Thanks for joining us for CBN's On the Home Front, where we highlight what the men and women of America's military do to defend our country. CBN honors the men and women in our military with an initiative called Helping the Home Front. It partners with churches across the country to meet the needs of their military families, from repairing homes to wiping out medical bills for wounded veterans.
On the Home Front, Tuesday morning at 10:30.
If you want to be an attorney with a passion for serving people and for excellence, Regent University needs to be high on your list.
Regent's award-winning law school doesn't just create lawyers. We create leaders, judges, prosecutors and defense lawyers, civil litigators, and leaders in government.
My focus has been trying to really make sure we have the future leaders we need for the bench and the bar and for society generally.
You'll learn from highly credentialed leaders who are current and former judges, distinguished scholars, and ACLJ counsel.
I'm so glad I chose Regent. The relationships here have been amazing. The faculty have been amazing. Not everybody's called to the same thing when they leave law school, but they're called by a God who has a purpose for their lives, and He is going to use that education to make a difference in the world.
Regent will prepare you to be a purpose-driven, practice-ready lawyer. To start your rewarding law career, complete the online application, submit your transcripts, and take the law school admissions test by July. Apply today.
It has the power to influence weight loss, boost your immune system, and improve brain function.
We've seen an explosion of data on the role of the gut microbiome in health.
The free Build a Better Gut booklet reveals the latest information about the gut microbiome. You'll discover how your gut affects the rest of your health.
The gut microbiome has been linked to depression and cancer and heart disease.
Learn how to build a stronger, healthier gut.
The microbiome, if it's in good composition, are really protecting us all the time from more invasive things.
Get the Build a Better Gut booklet, free from the Christian Broadcasting Network. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut.
You need to make sure that your microbes are working with you, not against you.
And if you order online, you'll get immediate access to the Build a Better Gut series, a digital copy of the booklet, and related bonus material. Build a Better Gut today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut for your free copy.
Just Mercy is a new film hitting theaters on Christmas Day. Studio 5 had the chance to go behind the scenes and to sit down with the actors, Jamie Foxx, Michael B. Jordan, Brie Larson, and others, to bring you this first look at the film.
They convicted an innocent man. I was always taught to fight for the people who need the help the most.
You don't know what it is down here. They ain't got to have no evidence.
How many of you all were with Walter that morning?
You ain't quitting, is you?
No, sir.
We all with you.
Well, the film is based on my book, Just Mercy, which explores this tremendous explosion in the prison population in America over the last half century. And I wrote the book because I wanted people to understand all of the consequences of having a prison population go from 300,000 to 2 million and the problems of bias.
Michael, when you first hear of Brian Stevenson's story or read the book, what were your initial thoughts? Did you know immediately this was something you wanted to do?
Yeah, when I first heard about Brian, I was actually embarrassed that I didn't know that much about him in the first place. But as soon as I got educated on him, you know, listening to his TED Talk, and reading his memoir, meeting him, getting to know him as a person, and the work that he's doing, I immediately knew it was something that I needed to be involved with, trying to figure out, you know, how to get it done, what people will be involved, you know, how to develop it. So it was a no-brainer for me.
Did you handpick Jamie?
I mean, I felt like he was the only person I saw for it, you know. He's the only person that I felt would be able to give the character what it needed. Rich boy from Harvard, you don't know what it is down here when you're guilty from the moment you're born. And you can buddy up with these white folks and make them laugh and try to make them like you, whatever that is, and you say yes sir, no ma'am, but when it's your turn, they ain't got to have no fingerprints, no evidence. And the only witness they got made the whole thing up. And none of that matter when all y'all think is I look like a man who could kill somebody. That's not what I think.
You play Walter McMillan. How easy or difficult was it for you to play the role of a man, black man, wrongly convicted of a crime and literally possibly being sentenced to die?
I don't think any of that is easy. I don't think the mindset of it, I don't think it's easy. I don't think it was easy for us to go on that set and be in those jail cells. You know, as black men, you know, that's the place you never want to be. And I don't even visit people in jail. You know, I have a thing about seeing a perception of seeing my family members or people that I know in jail. So that was a tough thing. But having someone like Michael B. Jordan, who's up for the task of doing something like Just Mercy, introducing us to Bryan Stevenson, I think is the golden part of it.
I was a psychology major writing a paper on capital punishment when I met my first death row inmate, Wayne Ritter. He and his friend robbed a pawn shop in Mobile. His friend shot the owner, and they both got death.
Is he the reason why you got into this?
His attorney was openly in favor of the death penalty. He thought mad dogs ought to die.
She's pretty stressed out.
I was just about to give up when I got a call from a Harvard lawyer saying that he had just passed the Alabama bar and had federal funding to start a legal center for inmates on death row. I was in before he even offered me the job.
Bree, the title of the film is Just Mercy. I feel it has a lot to do with grace and mercy, but your particular character, I also feel, has a lot of courage. Would you agree?
Yeah.
What do you think it is about her that made her so courageous in that time?
To me, it's just about when you know something is so true, something is so clear and true, and in this case, it's because of her curiosity and the intimacy with which she finds it. It's happening in her community.
I didn't mean to kill nobody. I think they're gonna set my execution soon. Last lawyer said there ain't nothing left to do.
There's always something that we can do. Whatever you did, your life is still meaningful.
The film is called Just Mercy. What's a memorable moment for both of you where mercy showed up?
It's a great question. I mean, my whole life has been a blessing, you know, honestly. God gives me mercy every day, you know? It's one of those things where it's you know, I can't pinpoint one. When looking the way we look, you know, the way we are living in this world, there's so many opportunities for things just to go wrong, you know, and there's a lot of things that's been going right, you know? And I'm being protected and, you know, walking our paths. I feel very, very blessed, and, you know, I feel like I'm always in a state of mercy.
A must-see film for everyone. It is time now for your Thursday Thankful, and today I leave you with this prayer of gratitude. Father, in the busyness of the holiday season, help me to open the gift of salvation on a daily basis. It is the greatest gift I will ever receive. With that prayer and that word, I encourage you to make today a thankful Thursday. That will do it for this edition of CBN Newswatch. Remember, you can find more of our news programs on the CBN News channel at any time or online at cbnnews.com. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. Email us, newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Make it a thankful Thursday. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody, and God bless.